Today on Locked On NBA, I'm handing Matt and Hayes their realtor license because we're going house hunting, helping to find new homes for stars that are stuck on bad teams. Plus, is Franz Wagner the best player on the Orlando Magic with or without Paolo Banchero? Find out. The weekend is here. Let's have some fun on Locked On NBA.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On NBA. Thanks for making us your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. This episode is brought to you by Robinhood Gold. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold. I'm Doug Branson, host of Locked On Hornets and your Shot Clock Sherpa, guiding you through the NBA's biggest stories with the help of Locked On's local experts. And with me are two of Locked On's premier national NBA experts from the Locked On Nuggets podcast and senior writer for the Action Network. We've got Matt Moore with the goggles on. Love it. And from the Locked On Bulls podcast, Hayes, you want to show us? I mean, you're already wearing glasses. I don't know if the goggles would.
I can't see, so there you go.
Okay, well, we're almost a month into the season, which means teams are beginning to realize they are either contenders or members of the Cooper Flag fan club. And with that, of course, comes trade rumors. So it being Friday, I thought we'd help out a few of the players that find themselves in process purgatory, help them find a new home in a segment we're calling Find a Team Friday. Matt and Hayes, I'm giving you your realtor's license. I'm going to give you a player and a little bit of local expert analysis, and you're going to sell me on where that player should end up. And first, we go to the Brooklyn Nets and their scoring expert, Cam Thomas. Here's Locked On Nets host Adam Armbrecht with a breakdown.
Sam Amick from The Athletic saying, hey, not only are the Nets open for business, but they're also open for Cam Thomas business. When you look at his game and how it's kind of expanded here a little bit, we talked about the defensive value more over the course of this season under Jordi Fernandez. I just think that one of the areas we probably would have worried about a year ago with him would be, well, if you strip away all the veterans on this team, will his value get diminished? Will other teams look and see, okay, great, he can score a lot, but the team loses all the time? Is there a value as a man off the bench for our contending team? Is there a value putting him into our starting rotation? I think we've gotten beyond that with him. Where now the stats, the performances, the eye test tells you he has value, like we talk about with a Cam Johnson, like we talk about with the Dorian Finney-Smith, where you go, okay, we understand what he is. Now it's just a matter of what is it going to take to get him. And I honestly think when we look at it from that perspective, it probably comes down to, in order to entice the Brooklyn Nets, it's going to be that tale as old as time with Sean Marks. Yeah, he's available if you can meet our requirements when it comes to trade packages.
Okay, what Sean Marks needs aside, Matt, help Cam Thomas find a dream home. Where's he going?
All right, I got two options for Cam as he decides on where he wants to go. He can head on down south, and he can go to Texas, and he can head to the San Antonio Spurs for Malachi Branham, Charles Bassey, and a second-round pick. Spurs have one of the bottom offenses in the league. Put Cam Thomas next to Victor Wembanyama. Let him be the kind of scoring output. They've got a lot of really good defenders. Just give them a six-man off the bench. Meanwhile, I still like Malachi Branham, so I actually think that's a pretty good return for the Nets there. They get Charles Bassey, another center to kind of throw out there as they proceed to pursue Cooper Flag, and maybe a second-round pick. That to me makes a lot of sense. The more daring one is, how about the Wizards? Let's send him to the Wizards alongside Ben Simmons.
Why?
For Malcolm Brogdon, Marvin Bagley, and the Nets are going to send the Knicks 2025 first rounder because that looks like it's going to be bottom five. They don't need that one. They've got the Bucks pick. So you move off of that. You move off of Simmons. You keep Brogdon, who you can then swap again, and you get Marvin Bagley, who I think is really underrated. I think the Wizards should add Cam Thomas because that way you can have Jordan Poole and Cam Thomas and Kyle Kuzma and have the emptiest stats ever known to man. And that will absolutely help you get Cooper Flag. Those are my two options.
You know what? I may upset Matt even more with this one because I think the Denver Nuggets should trade for Cam Thomas. I think that in his shooting with Jokic's creation, they need a scoring punch there sometimes. I think Cam Thomas will make a lot of sense for the Denver Nuggets.
He can dribble. He can literally walk and dribble. So he is a massive bench upgrade for the Denver Nuggets. I don't hate that at all.
Okay. I really like, and I don't know the exact permutation to get it. Like Cam Thomas still on his rookie scale deal, so matching the money isn't hard at all. The question would be for the Denver Nuggets, I think the first unprotected pick that they have is 2031, which I don't think they can move it so until the year after that because I think they have protections on the pick before that. So the question is how long are the Brooklyn Nets willing to hold off on getting that pick compensation back? But if they are, because they're not going to be good probably in the next decade, then maybe they'd be willing to take it.
No one's doing a first for Cam.
You don't think anybody's doing the first for Cam?
I like Cam. I think Cam's a lot of fun. It's not that Cam's not bad, but it's going to have to be one of those where the Knicks, where it's this is going to be a bottom 5 pick. If you can guarantee that, but with Denver, that could be in the teens. You can't be giving up anything north of 20 for Cam Thomas. That can't happen.
That may make sense, but as alluded to by the local experts there from the Locked On Nets podcast, we just don't know how high a price Sean Marks is going to put on Thomas, and it's why in that same podcast they speculated that they don't think that a deal is actually going to get done at all for Cam Thomas, and it leads to a question for me. Should the Nets be looking at a trade for Cam Thomas at all costs, even if it does come without a first rounder, or should they reevaluate, be patient, and make a run here in a seemingly weakened Eastern Conference and a better Nets team? Matt, you're shaking your head, so you can go first.
You're going the wrong way. Stop it. Stop winning. You cannot do this, all right? This is the best draft class you're going to see in probably the next 3 to 4 years. You have a genuine opportunity to, even if you don't get flagged, all right, the lottery is tricky. Sure. It's still early enough. If you pivot now, you can still get Ace Bailey. You can get VJ Edgecombe. You can get one of these, Dylan Harper. You can get one of these guys. Do not screw this up just so that you can make the play-in tournament with Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, and Cam Johnson. Do not do this. Turn around, Brooklyn. You're going the wrong way.
Hayes, are you going to stand up for the integrity of the game, for winning you play to win the game, right, Hayes?
Yeah, but also you have to think about winning in the future as well. And I'm sorry, when you have Dennis Schroeder playing out of his mind right now, everybody should be on the block. The Brooklyn Nets should be shopping everyone. That's why I'm not surprised by that at all. I wouldn't mind if they did keep Cam Thomas. He is on a rookie scale deal. You bring in Cooper Flagg there. Even if they do get Cooper Flagg, is Cooper Flagg and Cam Thomas going to all of a sudden turn around in year one and take you out of the Eastern Conference? No. So they still going to have time to build if they do hold on to Cam Thomas. But I think they're in the right approach. You sell everything off right now because you actually got some pieces that could actually hold some value around the league leading to the trade deadline.
Maybe not Cooper Flagg and Cam Thomas, but Cooper Flagg and Malachi Branham. Now you're cooking with gas.
Well, for the record, I'm in favor of the plan to get him a house in Texas. Big open spaces, open concept, high ceilings there with Victor Wembanyama. I like it. I think that's a good plan. All right, we're going to do one more, and it is going to be Kyle Kuzma in some rumors around the Washington Wizards' future. Obviously, they're at the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Let's head over to Locked On Wizards and hear from Brandon Scott on that.
Not only is it a value contract for him to be on his team, be a leader, be the number one scoring option, and we don't have to break the bank to have the guy. He's not going to really become an issue with a salary cap. He's a guy who could be here on the cheap, but also for prospective teams who they may want to add a scoring piece going to the playoffs, and they may not want to break the bank to do so. And with Kyle Kuzma, you have a guy who has shown that he can put up 20-plus points a night. Now, on a contending team, he obviously was probably going to be a third, fourth option as opposed to being the number one option here in DC, but he's a guy who's definitely has value. Now, the asking price last season's trade deadline, that is, and even going into this year's offseason was 2 first-round picks. I do not believe they're going to get the asking price. I think a first-round pick and probably a young player or an expiring contract in return is probably the best-case scenario, in my opinion.
Okay, Hayes, find a new home for Kyle Kuzma. What are you thinking?
No new home, because Kyle Kuzma, personally, I just look at Kyle Kuzma as an empty stats guy. And I think any team that trades for Kyle Kuzma is literally just going to look at him like, sure, can he put up some points? Is he going to have some big games? Yes. But, I mean, here's the thing. I'll play the game. If we're talking about a team that would make some sense for Kyle Kuzma, honestly, I'd say the Detroit Pistons. They are a team trying to make a move in the Eastern Conference. Maybe adding a player like Kyle Kuzma could make some sense for them there. But other than that, I just don't see Kyle Kuzma really helping many teams. Personally.
Hayes, you're going to get your license revoked talking like that.
No.
Just stay home. Just don't buy a new house. Just stay there.
Man.
Nobody's going to Detroit anyway. Like, come on now. What are we doing?
I got one.
Okay, Matt.
Minnesota. Julius Randle for Kyle Kuzma, Malcolm Brogdon, and one of the wings. Maybe if they can possibly drag out like a Corey Kispert. I don't think they'll let him go, but that would be ideal with Bilal Coulibaly playing so well. Minnesota's got to get off of Julius Randle. I'm more convinced of this than ever after watching the Raptors-Wolves game last night. They've got to get off of Julius Randle. And so you move Randle. I don't think Kuzma is empty. I think Kuzma is playing Wizards ball, which means you know where you're at. You're getting numbers. You're keeping your body fresh for when you're going to compete again. You put Kuzma on that team. He fits in a lot better with Gobert and Ant. He's a way better defender than Julius Randle. He brings a lot to the table, and he doesn't need the usage. I like that fit a lot for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Nice. I love that house in Minnesota. Nice French doors. And those French doors would love if Julius Randle walked out of them, I think, at this point. Okay, fun game. And coming up, we've got much more on this episode of Locked On NBA. Franz Wagner puts on a show fit for an opera stage in a win over the Los Angeles Lakers. And Joel Embiid is going snitch hunting, apparently. We'll get to all of that and more today on Locked On NBA. Today's episode of the Locked On NBA podcast is brought to you by our friends at Chime. Have you ever hit that moment when you knew it was time to get serious about your finances? Maybe it was saving up for a dream trip, paying off credit card debt, or just getting your financial life in order. That's where Chime comes in, with no monthly fees, no maintenance charges, and fee-free overdraft up to $200. Chime has you covered for all of those uh-oh moments, whether it's withdrawing cash from over 50,000 fee-free ATMs or getting paid up to 2 days early with direct deposit. Chime gives you the tools to make progress. Need a little help? Friends can even give you a boost to temporarily increase your overdraft limit, and when they do, you can return the favor. To date, Chime members have been spotted over $30 billion. Ready to make your fall finances greener? Open a Chime account in just 2 minutes at chime.com/NBA. That's chime.com/NBA. Chime feels like progress. Banking services and debit card provided by the Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A. Members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. This episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Game Time makes buying tickets to your next event even easier. And I'm not just talking about sports. Game Time has great deals on concerts and events too. And with Game Time Picks, they gather up all the best deals and put them right in front of you all in one place. It's really an excellent feature. And that's not all. You can also get seat views, which is a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. And they have the lowest price guaranteed, or Game Time is going to credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA, LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Your favorite NBA team now has a free daily newsletter. Go to LockedOnDaily.com and subscribe to stay up to date with local expert analysis and amazing writing from Katie Heindel, Mike Shear, and Locked On Fantasy Basketball tips from Josh Lloyd. Last night, the Orlando Magic took down the Los Angeles Lakers in dramatic fashion thanks to Franz Wagner's step-back go-ahead three. Here's Locked On Magic host Philip Rossman-Reich with more on Franz.
37 points, 13 for 26 shooting, 4 for 10 from 3, 7 for 8 from the foul line, 6 rebounds, 11 assists, and 4 steals as well. The Magic weren't going down. Franz Wagner wasn't going down. He scored 15 points in the fourth quarter alone. He scored 13 in the Magic's final 21 points, assisted on one more, or a couple more after that. He hit every big shot, made every big play down the stretch. With Paolo Banchero out, the Magic have asked Franz Wagner to be uncomfortable. They are pushing him to be uncomfortable. His team needs him to do the things he is uncomfortable doing. Franz has embraced it all. Franz has grown into it all. He has become a star.
Franz. All I'm hearing about is Franz Wagner. Is he the best player on the Magic, even when Paolo Banchero eventually returns? Hayes.
No, I'm not willing to say he's better than Paolo Banchero and Paolo's out, but what Franz has been able to do here is special. Like, you look at the numbers that he's putting up so far in the month of November, 25.5 points per game on 46% shooting, 33% from three isn't amazing, but also 6 rebounds, 6 assists, almost 2 steals per game as well. And he's only turning the ball over 2 times. Like, Franz is putting up all-star numbers, and he's stepping up at a time where this Orlando Magic team has needed it the most. And so when Paolo does make his return back, like we talked about when Paolo went down, they just had to stay afloat in this Eastern Conference. And Franz is giving them the playmaking that's needed for them to be able to do that. And this is, I said it before, if I'm picking any surprise team to come out the Eastern Conference this year, it's the Orlando Magic. And Franz is a big reason why.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great take at this point. I'm buying more and more into the Magic every day. I think Franz is better. I think he's better, but it's close. Like, it's very close. And that's a credit to Paolo, honestly, because Franz is so good. But Paolo, I think, has to grow more as a playmaker and be a little bit more efficient. Franz manages to have a big impact, and he does it efficiently, and he contributes in so many ways. And I think Paolo, honestly, is a better passer than he gets credit for, and I hope he continues to build that part of his game. But the bigger thing for me is this. I started thinking about how many duos would I rather have than this pair. I'd rather have Franz and Paolo than Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. I'd rather have Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero than De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. Like, there's a couple that I would be like, all right, maybe not. But I think that this duo is going way up there in terms of I would rather have that as my core than a lot of what the other teams are cooking with.
Hayes, what do you think? Can you think of a better duo?
No, I mean, yeah, of course, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but you look at everything else other than that in the Eastern Conference, like, they got to be right up there. They have to be right up there. Like, this is an Orlando Magic team that has such a good base of young talent that has just been steadily improving every single year. And despite some offensive limitations or injuries or whatever else, they keep finding a way. Like, Paolo and Franz as a 1-2 punch. What do you need in this league? What do you see that works? Is versatile forwards that can play either position, that can score, do a little bit of everything. And that's what these two guys have. And it really, really special duo building here in Orlando.
Okay, we move. Well, actually, I have one more question on this, and it has to do with the coaches. So Jamal Mosley for the Magic. You think if they continue to win, get high-profile wins, they get Banchero back, they get a high 1-2 seed in the Eastern Conference, you think there's a chance he can wrestle Coach of the Year away from the guy that I think everybody has the favorite right now, Kenny Atkinson and the Cleveland Cavaliers? Matt.
I think it's possible because, like, let's say the Cavaliers have a steep regression and they settle back into being just like a 50-plus win team, right? Like a steep regression. It would take a lot, honestly, after a 16-0 start. But if they were to regress that much and then the voters get to the end of the year and it's Mosley, got here with Paolo missing all of that time. Their offense has made this type of a jump. We thought the Magic were good. Now they're the 2 seed or 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. That, I think, changes part of the equation here. I think that Atkinson's got to be a heavy, heavy favorite. But I think what Jamal Mosley has done is one of the most impressive jobs. Not managing the injury, not the success in terms of the wins and losses. It's that when you watch this team, he built a foundation and has improved it every single year. It's easy to just be like, we won last year, we're just going to keep what works. They're better in key strategic ways, and to me, that matters a lot.
I think you also got to factor in the development aspect of that. Like, yeah, absolutely, he's right up there in that conversation. What this, to Matt's point, like building off of it every year, like that's not something that's easy to be done. Like sometimes you stagnate and sometimes you rely on what works. Like they've added something every year. They've changed a little something every year to just make them a better team on top of players improving. And that's something as well you got to give up to coaching, is being able to put these players in position, not try to pigeonhole them into the system and let them blossom into who they are. They're building something special down in Orlando.
Okay, let's move on to the Phoenix Suns. The Suns have had a 7-game winning streak this season with Kevin Durant healthy and are in the midst of a 5-game losing streak without him. Locked on Suns is asking, which of these streaks feel more real to what this team actually is?
Love this question. And as I was kind of debating it back and forth today and I was thinking about it, I don't think it's even like debatable. When this team is healthy, they're one of the best teams in the NBA. That's what I think this team is, man. With Budenholzer's creative offense, this team defensively, which was playing pretty good to start the season, I don't think it was a fluke. I don't think it was they just got lucky in some late games against the Mavericks, maybe got away with a push-off, or Nurkic hitting a last-second free throw, or in the Clippers and the Mavericks games. I think this is what this team is, man. I think they're one of the best teams in the NBA.
Okay, Hayes, what do you think about that? Best team in the NBA. Which one is more real? Is the 7-game winning streak with Kevin Durant playing at an MVP level, lots of minutes, is that more real? Or, is this 5-game losing streak without him revealing a little bit more about what this team really is?
If I had to pick, I'll say it's more real when KD is healthy. KD got hurt. It is what it is. But that team was playing at such a high level before he went down that it didn't feel like something that was just surface level. It felt like something that could have been sustained. They just got to get KD back healthy. I won't necessarily say that they're the best team in the NBA when KD's healthy, but I do think they're going to make some noise in that Western Conference. They do have a chance, if they can keep it up and stay healthy, to come out that West. Is going to be a tough thing ahead of them. But they came into the season, they were one of the stories at the beginning of the season, and rightfully so. So I think that I'd believe more the 7-game winning streak, even though it was the beginning of the season, than this recent streak. But you still got to see him sustain it once KD comes back.
Context. One of the best NBA regular season teams. Absolutely. Look at this 5-game losing streak that they've been on. Kings, Thunder, Wolves, Magic, Knicks. That is a gauntlet. You look at the 7-game win streak. Who did they play? They played the Lakers, who were inconsistent. They played the Clippers. They played the Blazers, and they played the Sixers. So, yeah, context. I think this team is going to be a contender for the West. But, if you're asking me, because I was kind of going through this yesterday all right, do you think that the Suns right now, where would you have them in terms of if you were setting a line on a game at FanDuel versus, the Celtics? Are they that level? Probably not. Are you putting them up there with the Thunder? I don't know about that one. Can they win a series versus the Thunder? Yeah. But would you have them favored? Probably not. There's a tier right below, and I think that the Suns are there. They're contenders, but they're not at the top of the pile as we're heading into the second quarter of the season.
Okay, coming up on the Locked On NBA podcast, we're going to be talking about this news about the AllStar Game format. A radical new change may be in store for All-Star Weekend. Plus, it's Friday, and that means our favorite things of the week. Stick around. Today's episode of Locked On NBA is brought to you by Robinhood Gold. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now, the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply. For product-specific disclosures, visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. More Locked On NBA ahead. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. There is a free daily Locked On podcast for your favorite NBA team. You hear a lot of them on this show. Find your favorite team by searching your podcast app for Locked On and the name of your favorite team today. The NBA appears to be moving forward on a plan to radically shake up the 2025 All-Star Game with a new format. That is a 4-team tournament featuring 3 teams of 8 All-Stars apiece and the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge. Matt, we'll start with you. Is this the right move for the league or a step too far from tradition?
I don't care about tradition because this game is nonsense and it's always terrible and it's been terrible for 2 decades. So I don't care about tradition. It's like, how can we disrupt this awful piece of garbage we have sitting in the living room? I don't care. What I will say is I think it's good that the league is basically like, all right, we tried this. They still wouldn't try. We'll try this. They still wouldn't try. Let's try this. Maybe they'll try now. If you just keep trying things, maybe you'll find something that works. I'm always in favor of innovation if things are not working. And so am I interested to kind of see how this works? Yeah. Like a little bit more so. Am I going to watch? Like maybe. We'll see what I got going on that Sunday because I love Saturday night of All-Star, but Sunday is always a pass for me. This moves it from like a definite pass to like, all right, I'll see what's going on.
Yeah, this changes me to they have my interest now because I had no interest in it before. So I'll tune in and see how it goes this first time. I don't think it's like you want to get away from tradition. Tradition, like the players have moved away from tradition. So you do need to try a little something different. And I think that's a big and important thing here. And even incorporating the winner of the Rising Stars Challenge, I think could actually work because I tell you what, there's sometimes the biggest motivator is pride. And if these veterans come in here and get cooked by these young guys in the league, that may absolutely wake them up to take this a little bit more seriously. Maybe I don't have the biggest hope for it, but at least they're trying something different.
I really hope it does work, particularly the Rising Stars Challenge piece, because I would love to see G League get involved in a future tournament. I would love to see international teams get involved in a future tournament because I do love the idea that the NBA Cup seems to be working in terms of pushing ratings higher. And I just love the idea of the NBA offices going, that thing worked. Let's just keep doing that. let's just do that over and over and fix everything with more tournaments. I think the one thing I wanted to say, I'll push back a little bit and I'll just say the danger of making this radical shift is if that doesn't work, then it just might be the end of, and you might not care about this, but it might be the end of the All-Star Game in any kind of format. So, that's just something to look at as we continue to monitor this story. Okay, time for our favorite things of the week. Who would like to kick it off?
I'll go. A couple things for me. Grizzlies HBCU night on Sunday was absolutely phenomenal. It was really cool to see that. And the presentation from start to finish was really good. I think that these theme nights are often kind of the teams don't go far enough, and the Grizzlies really invested in that. And that was really cool to see. Pascal Siakam is one of if you're catching League Pass, the Pacers are a little bit of a mess right now, but Pascal Siakam has been phenomenal. He has been so much fun to watch. He was absolutely cooking in the Rockets game, and then Rockets fans were like, yeah, how'd that end? Because they won the game by 20. He was great, though, in that first half. He has these stretches where he's absolutely dominant. And then I think finally, if I'm kind of looking at this, is the Raptors and how much joy they played last night in that win over the Wolves with Scotty Barnes back next to RJ Barrett. It's cool to see these young cores and have these kind of moments. And those are the things that you catch on League Pass. That was a really cool moment. And I've loved seeing RJ Barrett get the kind of opportunity that he has here with the Raptors.
Hey, so everything of the week for me, Joel Embiid going through the fire. I don't care. Is it petty? Yes. It needed to be done. I don't care. It needed to be done. Joel Embiid needs a wake-up call, and I'm glad that he got it, and I'm glad that Tyrese Maxey was the one to call him out on it. And like I said, he responded to it with his best game of the season so far, so maybe it's going to work. But Joel Embiid, I think, is a player that does need to find motivation in different places, and maybe that's it for him. Outside of that, connect. And the game that he had, that scoring game that he had where he just went off, that was such a fun game to watch. I went back and watched every possession of his that game, and you just saw the confidence. But like the MJ shrug was such a moment in that game to me that it's just, you got to love to see a young player build off the confidence and just have that type of game. But those are the two things that stood out the most to me this week.
They asked Dalton Connect, I guess he talks about flow state. And so they asked him when he felt like he was in a flow state, sort of a state of zen, like I'm in the zone, essentially. And he said, first shot.
Wow.
So that is a confident shooter.
I have one more.
Okay,
and it was last night. It was Anthony Davis missing the game winner by 10 feet. That was my favorite thing of the week. For him to, like, big moment, AD at home, Lakers, Billy McDonald on the call. I hate that announcer. Missed it by 10 feet. It was absolutely, that was chef's kiss.
So for my favorite thing of the week, I was going to do Joe Mazzulla calling his former lead assistant turned Hornets head coach Charles Lee the enemy and accusing him of breaking the rules by giving him a pregame hug. because I can't tell if Joe Mazzulla is like a psychopath or one of the United States greatest comedians, because he is just like, I feel like it's a bit, but I can't tell, which I guess makes it the greatest bit. So I was going to do that, but then I saw this Mike Shearer article on Basketball Poetry writing that the best offenses in the league are the slowest paced offenses in the league. And I'm all for basketball slowing it down a little bit, because I mean, not even the camera people can keep up with how fast the game is going on right now. The broadcasts are having difficulty. So I was going to go with that. But then the 76ers happened to all of us. And specifically, I read something on another Substack, Mark Stein's Substack, but it was from Jake Fisher, who has teamed up with him now. And he wrote this. So when ESPN reported details on Tuesday morning from inside the 76ers team meeting following Monday night's blown lead in Miami, one league figure close to Philadelphia's All-Star Center told me, quote, Joel is going to be furious and that Embiid was going to try and find the Sixers' supposed snitch. We need a days since 76ers foolishness sign. Like it won't end.
I don't know what the better mental image is. Embiid in like a Sherlock Holmes hat with the magnifying glass going through the locker room searching for clues, or Embiid and Maxey walking in and doing like the Law and Order. Like they look like they're like they're going in to interrogate people. We're going to bring them down to the station. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, how about this mental image? Embiid prowling the locker room looking for clues, and Nick Nurse in the corner just slowly slipping off his black, thick-rimmed glasses and saying, Nick Nurse? I haven't seen Nick Nurse anywhere.
Yeah. How can I put this? No, I won't. I won't on that one.
All right, that's good. Yeah, take us into the weekend with a little moderation. I like that, because this has been a Flames week so far for the Philadelphia 76ers. If you like what you heard today, if you like what you heard this week, subscribe to Locked On NBA. Become an everydayer. Check us out. We're talking about the biggest stories every single day, and it's a 2-for-1. You subscribe to this feed, you also get Locked On NBA Game Night, recapping every single game every night, including on the weekends. Thanks for making Locked On NBA your first listen. Enjoy this weekend's action. Be kind to each other, and we are going to see you right back here next week on Locked On NBA.